What's going on, everybody? Today we're gonna play something a little interesting. Back in the day, I managed to get my hands on the Pokemon trading card game for the Game Boy Color, and I loved it. It had all the cards that I had been used to, and it basically was a way for me to play other people besides my older brother, and have, cards that I didn't actually have. It was a lot of fun, it was very interesting, it was very relaxing. I could pick that game up any day and play it, probably because I know what all the cards are. Sadly, that was actually where I stopped playing the Pokemon card game overall. I think it was the Fossil deck, something like that. Anywho, this particular game has the next booster pack after that, the Team Rocket booster pack, and that's where everything got interesting. Like energy potions, gym leaders, and dark Pokemon, which are very different versions of, regular Pokemon. Sort of interesting to really think about it. Honestly, it adds a whole new life to the Pokemon series for me, considering the amount of cards it really adds. And overall, I'm not really sure why we didn't get this sequel. There's enough content in this game to warrant a release over here. Maybe it was because the Rocket packs hadn't come over here yet. Maybe the Game Boy Color was on its last life and they didn't think that it would do so well. Either way, I think it's a great game. And if you like the original, you'll definitely like this one. Find a translation patch and, figure out how to do that. The difference between the first game and the second game is this game is actually a challenge in that it's more about the cards you need as opposed to, just being able to play most of the game with your starter deck until you got to the more challenging opponents, like the final four and all of the gym leaders. Now you're going to notice something interesting here. What you see now is actually footage I took afterward because I didn't actually know that there was an alphabet that I could use to write in English. I assumed because it was a translation patch that it just didn't exist. Boy, was I wrong. And I also cut out a lot of the grinding I needed to get suitable cards to actually play the game. Part of the Pokemon trading card game is actually, playing the people in the game to get the cards. So it's not like you're grinding forever. You'll eventually get enough of the cards that you want, and especially in this game, they give you your things in bursts. So I'll actually show you what happens as that goes on. Now this is a direct sequel, so it literally continues right where you left off in the first game. You just defeated the Grandmasters, and suddenly this happens. This GR blimp, I assume it's a rocket, I guess, comes out of nowhere and steals everyone's cards. What a bunch of dicks. I kind of like that all of their faces are the different elements. It's kind of neat. They even steal your cards. I wish I had a tractor beam that did that. They also added another area, the GR airport. Why didn't he go to the Mason laboratory and just steal their cards too? I mean, you'd think the research facility that's designed to study Pokemon cards would have, really good ones. Oh, and it's Ronald, your rival. He stopped being a dick in this game for some reason. Oh yeah, some of the club leaders are missing, and you gotta get them back from the island. Oh, and Ronald's gonna do it without any cards. It's gonna be kinda funny. And the other thing I don't like about this is that they kinda just give you the fire starter deck. You don't get to choose between the 3 different types like you used to be able to. The nice thing that they added is they took the deck building machine, the custom one, and they gave it to you all the time. So you can swap out decks really easily now and not having to go back to the Mason laboratory every time you want to, swap out your psychic deck for your water deck because you can only hold 4. Now one of the things I like about this game a lot is that they let you skip the tutorial. In the first game you had to play the tutorial every time, and while it was very easy, the prompts were rather tedious. They tell you, to make sure that if you've never played this before and you happen to pick the sequel, that you should totally play the tutorial. There is a bunch of challenges which will certainly teach you how to play the game, but it's kind of unnecessary. You only get booster packs. So then you go to the grass club and you meet Ronald, and he tells you to, where to start. And he tells you that he doesn't have any cards. And he also teaches you how to use the card pop, that weird sensor on top of your Game Boy, actually had a use. You know, besides Bomberman and the other Pokemon game, the real ones. The card you get is random every time. I got a different one on my second playthrough. So you talk to this girl and she'll give you a pack right away. You want to amass as many cards as possible so that way you can start being versatile. That fire deck is gonna, get you wrecked in the rock gym. You also want to, duel her, because if you beat her, she'll tell you where the grass lady is. She'll give you, like, a whole deck. So you go in the rock gym. And eventually you'll see this nice cutscene. One of the gym leaders actually managed to beat the people invading. You'd think they'd be more capable, but they're not. And he goes back to the fighting gym. And he tells you to beat everybody again, because that's what you do in a sequel. You beat everybody again. Alright, well that's it for this one. Next time we'll be on my other save, where I did most of the grinding, and we will start from there. See you next time.